If there is a painful illness, does the jnani suffer like anyone else? In the case of a jnani, the mind and intellect do not function. They do not register what is being suffered. But the suffering is even more intense because, in the case of an individual, it is the body which suffers. In the case of a jnani, it is the consciousness that suffers. So anything that is experienced in consciousness becomes exaggerated many times more. But you need not bother with this stage because it is a rare case. In the case of a jnani, the state is that of total disassociation from the body-mind. As an entity, a certain amount of disassociation with the body is a pleasing state, a state to which people look forward and accept. In the case of a jnani, the disassociation is further and total. Therefore, there is no question of any effect of such a state, pleasing or otherwise. The result is that there are no wants or desires. This is the way in which I experience. I do not know about others. Can Maharaj give me knowledge? Understand this. A jnani cannot give knowledge to anyone. All he can do is point to that which is your true nature. With such a condition offered here, I don't know why people are attracted to this place. There's nothing I can give anybody who comes here. The attraction to this place is spontaneous and not understandable intellectually. If what I have been saying is clearly understood by anyone, the effective result will be that even in the daily working of the individual's life, there will not be any specific intention. Things will continue in a sort of ball-bearing fashion, without any deliberate intention or deliberate action. In my own case, throughout the day the body carries out its normal functions. Things go on in a normal way, and nothing is resisted. Throughout the whole day there is no interest in understanding what is happening. Up until 8 o'clock the intellect did not function. Now I am aware of a little perception of my intellect. In the life of a jnani, no jnani will expose this secret. Not only will he have no desires of expectations, but neither will he have the attraction to be. The attraction of the consciousness to be is not there. To have any hopes, expectations, etc., one must have an image, an identity. That which you like most, that itself is I am, the conscious presence. But that is not going to last forever. When this flame is extinguished, what is the profit or loss to the flame? What does the flame represent? The knowledge, the consciousness? What is going to happen to that consciousness? Only in order to realize it, to understand it, do we have all this spirituality. When the flame is extinguished, it needs do nothing about itself. Similarly, understand, when the body drops off and the consciousness is extinguished, you need do nothing. With this understanding, do what you like in the world. Presently you are tied down to the bondage of the body, and that is conceptual. The very thought of any advantage or disadvantage is dissolved when one realizes this knowledge. For the sake of that principle, you are involving yourself in many activities. When that very principle is dissolved into nothingness, what are you going to do? Don't try to pick and choose and say, this I must do and that I must not do. Don't impose such conditions on yourself. Any ant crawls on your body and stings you. By that bite or sting, you know the ant is there. Just so the feeling of this conscious presence I am is due to the material body. Having understood this, where is the person who should hold on to the worldly life or should give it up? The question does not arise. If you are fully charged with this knowledge, in spite of the worldly difficulties, no difficulties will touch you. This cryptic, blunt talk will not be available elsewhere. At other places you will be given certain concepts arising out of consciousness, and out of those concepts more concepts are developed, and you are misled. Any type of concept in the realm of consciousness is unreal. Will the world listen to such talks? What are you? Are you that birth principle, that body which is born of the secretion of the parents? The one who gets this knowledge is free from worldly or family problems. The material of which the body is constituted is getting weary and weak, and along with it this knowledge is also getting weak. The sense of presence is still with me because that material of which the body is made still has a little strength. When that little strength goes away, then the consciousness will also disappear. Then there will be no sense of presence. But I shall very much be without the sense of presence. Each of you is trying to protect yourself. What is it that you are trying to protect? However much you may protect, how long would it last? Go to the root and find out what it is that you are trying to protect and preserve, and how long it will remain. The only spiritual way of understanding your true nature is to find out the source of this concept I am. Before the sense of presence arrived, I was in that state in which the concept of time was never there. So what is born? It is the concept of time, and that event which is birth, living, and death together constitute nothing but time, duration. Once you understand this, everything will be clear. Until you understand it, nothing will be clear. Is this not simple and easy? Words are simple, but apprehending what those words mean will be difficult. What is it in the absence of which you would not be able to understand even the words? Go to the root of that source. In apprehending what I have told you this morning, the intellect is totally impotent. There must be an intuitive apprehension of it. People don't really understand what I say. They partially understand and form their own concepts, but the real self-knowledge is not there. Suppose there is a seed which is going to produce a great tree. If you cut that seed, you must be able to see the tree in the seed. The tree which I got is that seed which is called the seed of birth. And when I broke it open, I got the self-knowledge. Other than self-knowledge, what other capital do I have? I have met so many so-called jnanis, but the real one, who has seen the tree and the seed, I have not seen so far. In the advanced stages, what happens to the intellect? To the disappearance of the intellect at old age, there is a witness. How can you describe that witness? Thoughts and emotions are always arising and distracting me. What shall I do? You are before any thought can arise. All thoughts, etc., which arise are merely movements in consciousness. Once consciousness arises, everything arises. The world and all the transactions in that world. Merely witness them. It takes place. There is no individual to witness. Witnessing takes place of the total functioning of the universal consciousness. Because I totally negate the individual, this will appeal only to 1 in a million. There are so many people who are thoroughly dissatisfied, always searching for something and never satisfied. Why is that? You will never be satisfied until you find out that you are what you are seeking. If you want knowledge as an individual, you will not get it here. If you are satisfied with this knowledge, you may come and sit still. If you cannot accept this negating of yourself, you may leave. I will understand. It will not affect me. That which has never happened at all, that is the child of a barren woman. What fear can you have for that? It is imagined, unreal. Out of that hallucination, somebody wants something. Is it not seeking the real and the totally unreal? If it were real, then we could do something about it. Correct? You see something. That is true. But what you see is an illusion, like a dream. What we see in a dream seems very real. but we know that it is unreal. In spite of understanding all this, still it is difficult to give up this form of identity of a male or a female. Without the form, the knowledge cannot be given. For the Absolute to manifest itself, the matter must be there. The Absolute unmanifested and the manifested are not two. It is merely the expression of it, like the shadow and the substance. This love of being is not of an individual being. It is the nature of the entire universal consciousness. It is only when the identity with the body-mind has been firmly rejected and identity with the consciousness has been thoroughly established that what I say will have any meaning. What you are is unlimited, which is not susceptible to the senses. By limiting yourself to the body, you have closed yourself to the unlimited potential which you really are. In meditation, it is consciousness which meditates on itself and remains within itself. If you accept what I have told you, then you do not take delivery of what is happening spontaneously in the world, and you are not concerned either with the cause or the effect. You then accept your true nature. Whatever actions take place through the body will take place independently of that which you really are. Bear in mind that when this life force, that which is the breath and consciousness, leaves the body, it will not seek permission from anything. It came spontaneously and will leave spontaneously. That is all that happens in that which is called death. There is no one who is born or will die. As I understand it, the purpose of life is merely to understand that which has been manifested and what is functioning in the universal consciousness. Other than understanding, there's nothing to be done. Is this correct? Correct. Everything is spontaneous, automatic, natural. It is only the concept of me and mine that is the bondage. When simple people like you are here, I am at peace, not disturbed. But when people come who consider themselves jnanis, who have the pride of knowledge and wish to show off their knowledge, then there is disturbance. This is a very high kind of knowledge, at a very high level. Until it is absorbed, what should an ordinary man do? So long as there is receptivity, a deep desire to understand it, there is nothing to be done. The knowledge itself will result in whatever is to result. It is not mental or intellectual caliber that is required, but an intuitive sense of discrimination. So now you are not the body. Having accepted it, can you continue to identify with the body? Do body and mind have an importance? Everything has its importance. Must we not take care of the body? One takes care of something with which one identifies. But you have nothing to do with body-mind anymore, so why are you concerned in taking care of them? When you are the space, you are no more the body, but whatever is contained in that space, and the space you are. You are now manifest whatever is known, the space. This space is known as Chidakash. When you are the Chidakash, you are subtler than the physical space. Expansiveness is more. A jnani transcends in various stages these subtleties, skies, spaces. In Chidakash, he is still confined, still conditioned by thinking I am. Therefore the next is Paramakash. Paramakash is the highest, in which there are other akashas, 7. In Chidakash, this knowingness is I am. In Paramakash, there is no is or is not. It transcends everything. What is love? Does it fulfill a need or pleasure? Yes, when you see something you like it. Disliking is love for that object. When anger and frustration arise, that too is part of love. It is quite good and very bad also. All the experiences of suffering are the result of love. Find out what is the requisite for all this play of love and hate. It is that love for beingness, existence, which gives rise to all pain and miseries. You have to face it, because you love to be. Prior to any love, that love for being is there. It tastes both the qualities of love and misery, pleasure and pain. Take the case of this flame, of the cigarette lighter. It gives the light the warmth, and it can also burn. Can I be away from it? What are you that wants to be away from it? If you are not apart from me, I can keep you out of me, but whatever is not apart from me. What is the you that has sprouted, that has taken root? That alone is the cause of pleasure and pain. When you understand this, it is all over, finished. Then you do some clapping, shout, and scream out of exuberance. All the show is over. The knowledge I am giving is going to dispel all the so-called knowledge you have. A jnani is subtle like the space. What is the space like? You assume there's the sky. What is it like? This knowledge is subtler than the space. The father of the space is the knowledge I am. How do you know consciousness? The way you started knowing yourself, exactly the same way. When you know that you are, it will be the same as acquiring yourself. Nevertheless, you were all along, were you not? What is the use of concluding logically? You must say right here and now, here he is, in actuality. Why does Maharaj take such an interest in me then? Who is taking an interest in whom? Who is having the doership of that? It is all happening spontaneously. In the common spiritual parlance, knowledge means repeating what you have learned. Presentation of intelligence. They think it is spiritual, but no one tries to find out what he is, does not look at himself. When a boy and girl get married, they are intensely interested in each other. Similarly, when one gets married to spirituality, one is always occupied with thoughts or deliberations concerning spirituality. Are you the blood flowing inside? Are you the skin, the bones? You are not. When you investigate thus and come to understand that you are not the body, you will eliminate everything, whatever you are not. Finally, what will you be? Come to this point. You are so much addicted to the things which you learn by heart, the rituals, the bhajans, etc., that unless you recite them every day, you will not get any satisfaction of feeling happy. These ritualistic practices are given for the ignorant, to keep their body-mind busy. But having the body-mind is to know that you are, and it has no name or form. There is no question of pleasure or pain, nor fear of death, nor one who understands. If one identifies with the body, then one is caught up in the relations related to the body. My words are few and short, but they are very effective. There are many volumes written about spirituality which do not destroy your concepts, but add to them. All the volumes do not tell you what you are. What is meant by the Chinmayananda and Satchitananda? People sometimes dance when they sing bhajans. They lose themselves, so that state is called Chinmayananda. To have the Chinmayananda, the first touch of consciousness is necessary. Ananda means bliss, and this is a quality of mind, a higher realm of the mind, but present in consciousness. The prerequisite is the kiss of consciousness, which is necessary for that highest state of exaltation or exhilaration, that is Chinmayananda and Satchitananda. I have come to the firm conclusion that I am nothing. I have no design, no color, I have no image of myself. In the early morning, when the waking state happens, that kiss of beingness appears, vibrant in the entire universe, and vibrating in myself. Also, I observe this same thing when I take rest in the afternoon. But if you want to judge me at a physical level, I am not able to lift this pot of water. That is how much strength is left in the body. But that touch of the all-vibrant universe, that is the touch of my I amness. I am the knower of the Brahman. I am the Brahmanyani. Nevertheless, this touch of beingness is misery only. Once the knowledge has dawned in you, you are a jnani. You are no more a human person. You are the manifest Brahman, Chaitanya, the dynamic manifest Brahman. Earlier, your thoughts used to be connected with the body and the relatives of the body, but having gotten disassociated from the body-mind and established in the state of dynamic consciousness, what could be the quality of your thoughts? Your thoughts will be more subtle, if there are any thoughts. Nevertheless, this dynamic consciousness is the quality of the food body. So long as the body is, the consciousness is. Whatever you talk and receive in the morning, you will continue repeating until you fall into sleep. Nobody inquires at this level. All this functioning, how does it happen? What is the quality of this functioning and how does it occur? What are you? Inquire into it. Only a few people are capable of understanding this. That is why I send people away, because it is of no use just listening to words, but if that firm faith is there, what I say will dawn in them. The inadequacies of the intellect should be made up by this very strong faith. Beingness is there. The consciousness is there. And because it is there, the world is there. When the consciousness only prevails, when people talk, I don't understand. Only the conscious presence is felt and not the details of what is happening. Because of the conscious presence, you count me as present. If the consciousness is not there, you will say I am not present. The moment the waking state starts, the worshipping of misery begins. When did you have your first birth? I don't know anything about it. Then how do you accept this about the ultimate? This is not your direct experience. It is borrowed knowledge from books. How can you accept what is not your direct experience? There was a robbery in Delhi. The police may arrest you here and accuse you of it. Have you ever been to Delhi? No. Then why did you accept this birth? What are the Shastras or scriptures? It is merely the do's and don'ts on how we should behave in the world. Don't bring that here. Whether you accept this birth or not was the original question. Why bring in all this tall talk? Reading scriptures is all right for the ignorant. The next step is to give it up and try to understand what you are. Shake off all that you have read and try to understand now. You must apply your discrimination. It is of no use just blindly accepting what the scriptures have said. Accept them up to a certain stage. After that, you must be strong enough or mature enough to use your discrimination. People move about in search of knowledge, but they are caught up in the trap of words and in the fond concepts developed by so-called sages. A certain sage will ask you to behave in one way. You go to another sage and he will have you behave in another way. Thus you are caught up in the concepts of others. There is the story of a rishi in the scriptures who drank the waters of the 7 oceans in one handful. Are you going to believe this? Employ your discrimination. You speak of acharana, the code of behavior. Charana means the one who has to behave. Charana means only. I love, state. I am, state. The state of consciousness. The feeling of being without words. From that condition, the movement in consciousness begins. Loki and aloki. Loki we normally take as worldly. Lok means various personalities. Whatever is prescribed by the personality is Loki, or whatever is followed by the people. A Loki is transcending the worldly. A Loki is not known to you. These devotees love me, but they don't understand me in the Loki sphere. Spiritual talk is Loki talk, common talk, trying to give an image to others. Here there is no image or design. Now, how can you become one with that? You have to have an image or design. Whatever knowledge we talk about has to be communicated by words, but that is not the ultimate. You want to possess knowledge, to collect knowledge. Such knowledge is plentiful and available in the world, but a rare person will understand that such knowledge is a bundle of ignorance. You will make a study of those concepts which erupt from you. Those concepts which you do not like will not occur to you. If you are interested in spiritual living, your thoughts and concepts will relate to that. I have said what I have to say. There is no question of saying anything more. Because you come here, I treat you with courtesy. But I am fully convinced that you and I have no design. I am afraid that what I say will not reach your real core. Therefore, you do bhajans. As a matter of fact, you should not visit me at all. Bhishma was on a bed of arrows in his last days. I am also on a bed of arrows of suffering. For those who are sitting here, the benefit you get will not be different from the benefit you get sitting under the shade of several thickly leaved trees. Sitting under the trees, there is a certain amount of peace and the feelings of well-being. Stay in peace. The teachings are emanating out of this consciousness. It is like a big shady tree for relaxation. You come here and sit and feel the relaxation. But you are not able to say what it is like. In that state, you are not able to explain by words. You are in a relaxed state, but the deeper meaning is reveling in the self, abiding and subsiding in the self. That is why you feel relaxed and happy. Whatever sentences you hear in this state will not be forgotten. Swarta, swa, means self, and artha, meaning. Swarta has great meaning. Swarta means selfishness, and swa means the meaning of the self. Words have meaning in the practical world which will make you selfish, but the words which emanate here will give you the meaning of your own self. A mother and son came and garlanded Maharaj and distributed prasad to everyone present. The deep state of simple, innocent people comes to fruition in this fashion. She prayed that her son would pass the examination. Her own faith worked. If you enjoy this relaxed state here, and if you become one with this state, you will also transcend this state. You will even transcend into the state prior to the birth of gods. With this understanding, do what you like. Carry out your worldly activities. When you understand the meaning of swa, the self, there will be no room for selfishness. Understand this thoroughly. Abide in it. Then in due course you will realize it. When the time is ripe, only then will it happen. What is your worth? You are the consciousness through which the world is expressed. Abide in that worthiness. Don't step down into mind and the body. Again, you must have the firm conviction that you are unaffected by birth and death. You are like space. Not only like space, you are prior to space. That ultimate you can never be lost. Whatever you have lost only words. I have told you enough, and whatever you have heard, retain it, deliberate over it, ponder over it, and be one with that. Deep sleep is no knowing. The Absolute is beyond knowingness and no knowingness. I do not understand. To start with, a child is born. The infant does not know itself. The reactions of hunger, thirst, etc. take place. These are physical things when life is there. But inside that state, knowingness has not developed or matured fully. After 1 or 2 years, it comes to know itself. the mother, etc. When the child knows itself, its knowingness has started. Prior to that, it is ignorance. Although it is no knowingness, it is ignorance. Then the knowledge I am is attained. It does not know who it is, but it knows it is something. Later on, the child, collecting concepts and ideas which other people feed it, and develops certain concepts. Later on, the child starts collecting concepts and ideas which other people feed it, and develops certain concepts or images about itself and others. The mind has developed. Then comes deep sleep and the waking state, the daily cycle. In the waking state, in whatever state of mind you are, you know the world, together with your concepts, and then you fall into sleep. Now, technically, you can call that deep sleep, no knowingness, but this is not that no knowingness beyond which the Absolute lies. Let us proceed again from the child. Ignorance, knowingness, accumulation of concepts, meeting the Guru. The Guru tells you, get rid of the concepts, just be yourself. So when you are, only you are. This is the first step. To abide in the consciousness that you are without words, that is knowledge. When the child started knowing itself, there was also knowledge. But that is a general knowledge and is common to all. This becomes spiritual now. The seeker, having understood what the Guru said, gets rid of the concepts. And now, as the first step, the seeker dwells in the state I am, just being. First of all, there is the knowingness I am without words. Without knowingness, the world is. Now, when the seeker goes into meditation, that knowingness goes into no knowingness. This is the highest in the hierarchy when the body aspect is there, because this knowing and no knowing are aspects of the body. And the body means consciousness. And in the realm of consciousness, knowingness and no knowingness exists. The Absolute transcends knowingness and no knowingness, so no knowingness is the highest in the hierarchy of spirituality, and the destination is transcendence of knowingness and no knowingness. I thought no knowingness means the Absolute. Knowingness and no knowingness are the expressions of the bodily consciousness. When this food instrument body, together with consciousness, is totally transcended, that is the Absolute. The light is there, the darkness is there, but what is the background? The space is there, which is neither the light nor the dark, but the space is. You have to transcend light and darkness to abide in space. Similarly, one has to transcend the knowingness and no knowingness, the aspects of bodily consciousness. If you have reached that state, you are watching consciousness and no consciousness. That is called natural samadhi or sahaja samadhi. Naturally, you are in that state, but this psychosomatic instrument of body and consciousness is always available. The moment somebody comes, the instrument is being operated. Otherwise, you revert to the Absolute. It is something like this. In a big hall there is a door, and in the door is a peephole. That peephole is the consciousness, but you are at the back. Suppose that those spaceships are going up from the earth. When you are in space, you feel that you have escaped the earth, but it is not so. You are still under the influence of the earthly atmosphere. You must go further into space where there is no atmosphere. But where's the thought of your going there? It is not like that. You are truly the Absolute, and these are all coverings you have gotten. You know you are, but you forget that you are, and that forgetfulness is no knowingness, which is the highest state. You can never describe it by words. That state is never captured by words. Understanding is necessary, and you should not get confused. Suppose you live in a state of knowingness. You should not think that you are a jnani already, simply because your knowingness receives many powers in that state. You might think you are a jnani, But it is not so. It is simply the first step. There are a lot of allurements at that stage. When you are only being without words, you are powerful. Give up the powers. Don't possess them.